and welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, for another Barça news roundup. And coming up today, we're going to be talking more about Hansi Flick's training methods, and we're going to be looking deeper into some of the things that we are seeing. But unfortunately, we do have an injury update today, and it is in one of the worst ways possible. It's Ansu Fati that we have to discuss. But there is an update too on Nico Williams, and that could be, by the way, a potentially huge update. So it's all coming up for you. Sit back, hopefully enjoy most of this. Let's do it. Because if we first begin, though, with another incredible super thanks coming in from our good friend Jesse, speaking there about Dani Olmo, who believes that he's a great player, but if it was up to him, he'd go for a defensive midfielder this summer, and maybe next summer we could go for somebody like Musiala or Florian Wirtz, and that there is something that I could 100% get behind. And I also want to give here a very big super thanks shout out on a birthday today, so I hope you have here an absolutely fantastic day. Really appreciate the support coming in. But I want to start here with a few more training updates today, because this morning Marc-Andre ter Stegen actually returned there to training with the team, cutting short his vacation in order to return to the group sooner, and that's good to see, by the way, guys. Ter Stegen, of course, he is one of the captains at the club, and he's returning to work here, of course, under a coach who knows him very well in Hansi Flick. And what we're hearing right now is that his German teammate Ilkay Gundogan and Rafinha as well, they won't return to Barcelona just yet. They will actually head straight to the USA when the time comes and join up with the team on pre-season tour there. So they won't be going to Barcelona, they're going to go straight to America and join up with the group there. But I think what we're also hearing right now that's interesting about the USA tour is that Gavi could also travel with the team there, because obviously he's not in full training just yet, he's not training with the rest of the group, but apparently he has already started training with the ball again. And Hansi Flick is such a big fan already, he understands the spirit of Gavi. He absolutely loves his attitude towards training, towards matches there. He wants to have him in and around the group, and even if he's not able to train yet at 100%, he still wants Gavi to be a big part of that team, because then you look at the kind of player that he is, his tenacity, it's infectious in a way. You want every single player there to approach training in the same way that he does. He sends out a real message, and even as a young player, he's somebody there that many can learn from, and that is why Flick wants to keep him around at every available opportunity. And what we're also hearing in the media right now, guys, is that Flick has actually asked Thiago Alcantara to work as closely as possible with both Pedri and Gavi when the time comes in training there. He feels as though Thiago can pass on a lot of expertise there, a lot of knowledge and experience to the midfielders, and it's great to see, I've got to say, guys, Thiago taking part in these training sessions. We've seen plenty of videos of him online there actually taking part in some of the rondos in training, and it's only a matter of time before the guy gets his shirt number, before we're actually talking about registering him in midfield if we were to have any more injury problems. But hey, let's hope that it doesn't come to that. But speaking more seriously here, though, about training right now, I want to speak more about Hansi Flick's approach and his thinking about the preparations that we are seeing here in pre-season, and especially the kind of mindset that Hansi Flick is bringing here to Barcelona, because he came out in his recent interview and actually said, I've told the players that if you train at 80%, you won't be able to perform at 100% in the games. It's that simple. If you train 80%, you cannot bring the 100% level in matches. He said training is crucial for improvement. It's about giving 100% intensity, focus, and showcasing your skills with the ball. And he said when you face up against your opponent in a match, that's when you prove your worth. It's like you owe something to the team that you've got to deliver. And if you train well and you prepare well, then victory will be within reach. And I think that's a really interesting quote there, where he says, it's like you owe something to the team. And that's the feeling that I get right now here from Flick. There's real emphasis on that group culture, playing for each other, working for each other, not letting down your teammates. And I think what Flick wants to do here is make sure that every single player is not only keeping their own standards high there, demanding the most of themselves, giving 100% every single training session, but also what he wants is them to demand that of each other. If somebody's not pulling their weight, you make sure they do. It is as simple as that. Everybody has to be pulling in the same direction. And Flick here, he's a real disciplinarian in every area here of the preparation. And I think we've actually seen that when it comes here to punctuality surrounding training sessions, because he's admitted himself that he's not a fan of just handing out fines to players there. You know, if somebody arrives late, if there's a little misdemeanor in the training session, he doesn't like saying, well, you're going to be fined for that. Because at the end of the day, guys, I've never understood that. Because if there's one thing that's not a problem for players, it's fines. You know, it's handing out money there. They earn more than enough money to deal with any fine that comes their way, so that's not really a deterrent, which is why instead, it's actually been reported that last week in training, one of the players, we don't know who it was, they arrived late to the training session, and Flick actually took them there in front of the whole group and warned them about their punctuality in front of everybody there in training. And I think personally that sends out a much stronger message, because we know, I think all of us from our days, whether it be in school, whether it be even in work, when you receive a warning directly in front of your peers for something that you've done wrong that nobody else has, that hits home the message much more clearly, and that usually ends up being a mistake that you won't make again. You will learn your lesson more from that than any fine. However, guys, unfortunately in today's training session there was some very bad news, and I've got to say, this is not only bad news for Barca, but it's sad news. I really was absolutely gutted when I saw the club say this morning, Ansu Fati has suffered a foot injury. That was absolutely crushing to hear. An injury first of all, and then the fact that it's on Ansu Fati there. He suffered that foot injury after a heavy tackle in training this morning. Barcelona say there that he will follow a conservative treatment plan in Barcelona, and that means here that Ansu Fati will not travel to America for the USA tour with the rest of the team. And again, that is so unfortunate here. He will miss the pre-season tour. That was such a crucial time for him that was coming up. And the timeline for his recovery right now, it is very uncertain, because what we're hearing already in the media, Javi Miguel, one of the injury specialists that we hear in the media talking, he says that Ansu's time off could either be between 3 weeks and more than 6 weeks out injured, because this foot injury here all depends on how Ansu's body recovers from it there. It can be a tricky injury to read and can be one that lingers, because an example that's being used right now is Inigo Martinez, who actually last year, he had a very similar problem himself, and he was sidelined for nearly 2 months before he could come back and play again. So quite clearly there, it's a waiting game. You've got to wait and see how that injury heals. You've got to be very conservative with the treatment and the recovery. And again, guys, it's just a nightmare for Ansu. You know, of all the players here, of all the people that needed this pre-season, of all the people that needed games on the USA tour, and now to have that robbed from him with an injury again, it is absolutely gutting for him, because I think here, coming back to the club after a loan away, and not only that, but coming back under a different coach now. By the way, Flick has been really impressed with him. He's been enjoying working with Ansu Fati. They've been working on specific plans together. Flick has been really eager to see him in the matches, and that chance now, like I say, is just gone. But I think the only good news right now when it comes to Ansu is, we're hearing in the media, Flick has already spoken to him. He's spoken there, he's taken Ansu aside in training after the injury today, and he said, look, this setback won't change any plan that we have for you. He wants to reassure him here that despite this injury, despite the few weeks now that we are going to be without him, it will not change the plan. And it is still possible that Ansu could remain at the club this season. But like I say, guys, that is a really cruel blow and a really bad time for Ansu Fati. Let's wait and see now how that recovery goes, when he can get back. And I really do wish him all the very best. It must be tough. However, guys, can I please try, just please let me try here, to recover the spirits here? That was a really cruel blow to Ansu, but let's try and pick ourselves back up with some Nico Williams news, and potentially, like I say, this could be massive news on the Nico Williams deal, because today and this morning, Jose Alvarez of El Chiringuito, who, like I say, they are not the most reliable source ever. Let's just get that very clear. But it is possible this is true. It is possible that Barca have made a breakthrough, because Jose Alvarez says Barca this morning reached a full agreement with Nico Williams on the personal terms, that they have now agreed, and it's rock solid, a 5-year contract at Barca with an increasing salary in the final years of that deal, a lower amount at first. It gets bigger as the years go on. The negotiations are wrapped up. They are done. Nico has agreed to join Barca. Now, if that is true, that is absolutely massive, because if Barca get those negotiations done, that means forget about interest from PSG, forget about interest from the Premier League. This deal is done with Nico, if this indeed proves to be true. And it could be huge, guys, because as soon as that is all done, and if that is to be the case here, the only thing remaining would be La Liga, giving their approval there for the 1-for-1 rule and having the required salary margin to register Nico. Once all of that has been approved by La Liga, Barca will pay the clause. And what I love about this right now is that we're not hearing in the media, once La Liga give their go-ahead, then Barca will try and pay the clause. What we're hearing, they'll do it. They are absolutely ready. They're waiting here every day. We're ready to go on the release clause. As soon as La Liga give their okay, it'll be paid and the deal will be done. And I think this could suddenly move quickly. We will reach a point here, guys, whereby if we agree those terms, if we already have, if we get La Liga's okay, this deal will run away and get done. And I feel really confident right now. I hope these words don't come back to bite me, but this feels like a deal that's under control. This feels like a deal whereby Barca are not going to stop until they get what they want. They want Nico Williams. They saw what he did at the Euros. They want him in this team. Hansi Flick wants him in this project. And believe me, we will get our man. And we are moving closer and closer to this deal being done. So indeed, guys, those there are the very latest updates right now on what is going on at Barca, and obviously very, very sad news indeed on Ansu Fati. Really, really wish that he hadn't picked up that injury problem, but please do let me know, guys, in the comments down below here what your thoughts are on everything we discussed today, and especially that potential breakthrough on the Nico Williams deal. Are we closing in? Is this about to become a reality? I will catch you all soon. Let's keep that energy going. Let's keep that excitement up. And I will see you very, very shortly with more to come. Thank you indeed for the support. But until next time, as always, Vejska, El Barça.